Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Man, so Valentina Shevchenko for the longest time seemed unbeatable, right?
Yeah.
Unbeatable. And little by little, as she started going through her title defenses, you started seeing a couple of, cracks that
hmm
people could probably exploit as they're going through. And, she started seeming a little more beatable and a little more beatable. And you're like, man, somebody's going to figure this out, right? And then
Yeah.
the last time Alexa Grasso faced Shevchenko, we had somebody that figured it out, right?
Figured it out. And who knew? It was just stay out of range until she finally throws a spin kick that misses, like she does in every fight, and then capitalize on it instead of just letting her get away with it. And that was it.
Yep. And that was it,
Obviously,
right?
that
So
wasn't
Alexa
it.
Grasso ended up winning that first fight through submission in the fourth round, I believe. And
Mhm.
so now there's a buildup for a rematch here. Look, usually when it's like an immediate rematch, I'm like, I don't know. But Valentina Shevchenko was,
Yeah.
so dominant for so long. She deserved the rematch.
That's when it's
Um,
justified.
yeah, yeah. And then you start having like I start having doubts, right? And I'm like, I don't know, because Shevchenko was so dominant for so long. She threw that
Mhm.
spinning kick. If she wasn't caught in that, would she have won that first fight? So going into this, I'm like, I think Shevchenko takes this. Unfortunately, that was my thought going in. Who did you
Yeah.
have picked?
Um, I kept flip-flopping back and forth, but by the time the fight started, I was like, "I think Grasso's got this." Shevchenko's getting up there in age also, and it's hard to stay dominant that long, and, you're aging the whole time, and you're doing, camps for five-round fights over and over and over and over again, and it's like, it just wears on your body. And I also saw Grasso. I mean, you can tell in this picture, she put on, like, muscle mass for this fight. She
Yeah,
looked bigger than she's ever looked. Um it's hard to come back and win, as a former champ for that long. It seems like once it goes almost. It's like it's tough to just get back in there and take the belt back and continue on that reign, right? We just saw it with Izzy, right? He got the belt back, but then immediately loses it. Like it's just difficult to do once you're at the top that long. You get kicked off the hill. It's hard to get back on it. So by the end of it, I picked Grasso, but goddamn, was it close? It was a close fight, man.
it was a good fight. It was a good title fight. 5 rounds. Valentina Shevchenko, I think, definitely made some adjustments, which is awesome to see, man. At this stage of her career, for her to still say like, "Hey, I lost the last fight," and it wasn't
Mhm.
just like well, I just got caught. It is what it
Yeah.
is, right? It was just that spinning kick. I just won't throw that this time, and she got lucky. No, she actually made some adjustments, man. She started working off her jab a lot more
Way
in this
more.
fight, and she has this extended, almost like a little bit of a Muay Thai stance. She's light on her front foot, right, and she has her
Mhm.
hands a little bit front,
She
which
just
it's yeah, it's a shorter distance for that jab to
Mhm.
reach, right? Which I think makes for less power and impact, but you're
Mhm.
able to tag the other person a lot more, a lot faster, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a
And
quicker release, you know?
shout out Benjamin, who's joining us, by the way. He says that girl messed her up. I'm not sure exactly who he's talking about, whether it was Grasso that messed up Shevchenko that messed up Grasso, because Grasso was a little bit of a bloody mess by the end of the
Yeah.
fight. But yeah,
So, and obviously the elephant in the room is the decision, right? And Mike Bell's scorecard. But, yeah, we had, shout out Andrew Toasty. Shout out the shirt. Says, did you guys start late today? Yeah, we had to start late this morning. We're just getting into the main event. Says he made it. But yeah, so it was a draw. It was scored a draw. One judge gave it 48-47 to Grasso. One gave it 48-47 to Shevchenko. And then Mike Bell scored it a draw. Um, we'll get into that, but I guess we could walk through the fight. The way I saw it, at least, we'll go round by round maybe and see if we saw it differently. Maybe we do
okay.
that. So first round, like you said, adjustments were made. Shevchenko looked very good on the jab. It was a close round. I had Shevchenko edging out that first round. What did you think about that first round?
Yes, yes. I think Shevchenko came out very crisp, man, right away. I think she did a better job finding her range right off the bat. Like I said, she
Mhm.
started working her jab. So I gave that one to Shevchenko.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers. Round one, significant strikes 14-12 in favor of Shevchenko, but she also got that takedown, had like a minute of control, which doesn't mean too much, but in a close round where the striking's even, effective grappling is kind of the difference maker. So that's kind of what I thought about it, right? With Shevchenko,
Mm.
giving it to Shevchenko. Second round, Rich, if you can go back to the really blurry screenshot because ESPN streams in 720p. Um, uh, Second round, Grasso, they get in the pocket, and Shevchenko. That's the thing when Shevchenko is just pot shotting those jabs, and countering with like one or two shots, so fast, lightning quick. But when they get into an extended exchange in the pocket, Grasso clearly has the power advantage at this point.
Mhm.
And yeah, she drops her and she flew like all the way across the octagon. I thought she was gonna just like stumble back and stay upright, but eventually she fell back and like did the whole backwards roll, right? Uh, and Grasso just sprints at her, and then kind of fucks her up in the clinch a little bit
Yeah,
until
up
she gets
against the
taken down.
fence.
Yeah,
That was
she got taken
close.
down
I thought that
again.
was close.
Yeah, she
Not the
got taken
round, but I'm
down.
saying I think it was close for her to put her out. If she would have landed one or two more big
Oh
shots, I
yeah,
think she would have been out.
yeah, I think so too. She got a little over excited. I think Shevchenko
Mhm.
capitalized on that with the counter takedown, and you could tell Grasso was just trying to get a stand up kind of off the takedown, um, but nothing really came from it. So, like in my opinion, it was like okay, cool. Now they're around a piece, right? Grasso just dropped her in that round. That's a significant moment that outweighs anything else in that round. They're probably 1-1 going into the third. Is that how you had it?
Yep, absolutely, man. I had the second round all the way for Grasso.
Yeah, third round. Shevchenko comes out and was like, "Man, these takedowns are working. Let me
Yep.
just bait her into striking, and then I'll take you down." And this was the round that she took her back, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so she takes her back, and it was hilarious. They always say like, "Yeah, if we can leave this picture up, Rich." Um, Dominic Cruz is like, you want to get the lock on the ground, right? So if you look at the lock of Shevchenko's legs, right, she has her left leg under her right knee on the body triangle. Traditionally, a nice way to get out of it is you turn to so they're on the opposite side, so that lock is on the ground rather than up in the air like that. And you can put pressure on that lock, and you can step over it, and you can try to escape that way. It's not guaranteed. It's not the only way to get out of it. And Dominic Cruz was talking like she's doing it the wrong way. She's not. This isn't going to work. She's doing it the wrong way. She's turning. She needs to turn the other way. Do all this stuff. Meanwhile, she like ends up on top from it. It's like man, there's no only way to get out of a body triangle. It's hard no matter what. But I thought it was funny. Anytime Dominic Cruz has a point, he's just like relentless with it. You know.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, this one not much really happened in this other than the control. Shevchenko, I think, threatened with a rear naked choke at some point. I thought this was a Shevchenko round, so they're flip flopping. What do you think?
Yeah, I would give this one to Shevchenko as well. I feel like she was in the more dominant position for most of the round.
Yeah,
Grasso really impresses me, man, with her jiu-jitsu over and over again. I know that Grasso is
yeah,
really known for having some of the best boxing in MMA in general.
yeah.
But she surprised me in the first fight, right when she ends up taking Shevchenko down, taking her back, and choking her out. I
Mm,
was even more impressed with defense, while Shevchenko, who's an
yeah.
absolute killer, couldn't finish her while she had taken her back with a lot of time left in the round, dude. When there was that much
Yeah,
time left in the round, she was taken down. That's why I was like, oh, this isn't good, man.
round three was 3 minutes of control for Shevchenko,
Yeah.
and one submission attempt couldn't get it. So
Yep.
yeah, very very impressive defense from Grasso. She gets the reversal with like 10 seconds left in the round. But I thought, okay, Valentina's up 2-1 now going into the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth round comes out and Shevchenko's back on that jab and she's just pop shotting her. She's not getting into extended combos anymore, which is good for her, right? Because Grasso's not going to tag her. If they're trading jabs, at least in this matchup, this fight last night, Shevchenko was much sharper with the jab. She found her range a little bit earlier with it, and I was like, man, if she can just cruise on here, like this,
Yeah.
we could be good here. Um, she shoots for a takedown because it so far has worked in all 3 rounds. Grasso sprawls on her and then picks her up with the front headlock and just knees her in the head 4 times as she's scooting her back to the fence. And Shevchenko's trying to put a hand down to kind of be like, I'm a down opponent. They get to the fence. And she looks at Herb Dean. She's like, "What the hell, man?" And Herb's like, "That's all legal," and which it was. And
Yeah.
because for some people say that it was illegal. It's not in Vegas. You need two hands down, and even that, even the one hand. I mean, you can see she's landing a knee right here. The hand's not on the ground. But even if the hand was firmly planted on the ground, that's not a grounded opponent in Vegas. You need both hands if you're going to play that game. So yeah, blasted her with four knees, gets her up against the cage, and really just fucks her up on the cage again. She just like
Yep.
put it on her at the cage. Shevchenko lands a nice elbow though that cuts her. This I think this is the deciding round. Round 4 was the deciding round. I personally had it for Grasso because of the damage.
I had Grasso on this one too. I had Grasso on this one
Yeah,
too. And ultimately, that's what a lot of people say is the number one criteria, right? Is who ends up delivering the
damage.
most damage to the other opponent.
Those knees
And
were nasty,
hands
man.
down, that was Grasso in this round.
Yeah, Tosi says one hand still has to be weight bearing no matter what. Yeah, certain commissions will give it to you. One hand makes you a grounded opponent, but it does have to be weight bearing. It can't just be like your fingertips. Vegas, regardless, needs both hands. Anders says Valentina was absolutely robbed. I disagree. I think it was a very close fight. I think you can again. This is Anders with the shining. Let's go. I thought shining profile picture. By the way, is what I'm talking about. But I think this fight was so close that it's not a robbery either way. But yeah, I had fourth round for Grasso because of the damage, the four knees, and then busting her up in the clinch right there was pretty nasty. And I think was this the round she also slammed her too? There was a
No,
round. It was either the fourth
I
or the fifth where
I think
Grasso
that was the
just
fifth
picked her up and
round.
dropped her ass. I
I
thought it was
think
the fourth. I
I
could be
can't
wrong.
remember. But another
Regardless,
case where even after the slam, a little overexcited, right, and gets
yeah.
herself out of position,
Hmm.
where man, she could have had some additional control time there, or she could have tried to finish her with the rear naked choke, but instead
Yeah.
kind of had to have a weird transition into an attempted armbar, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah. Because
uh,
she fell off.
yeah, because she fell off. But either way,
Hmm.
she found a way to still try to attack, even after she was sliding off the top there.
Yeah, exactly. This was the round where she dropped her, or
Okay.
where she threw her down. And I mean, that's an impact. That's damage, right? It's not just a double leg. It's a slam is damage. Anybody who's been slammed knows a slam is damage. Uh, in the fifth round, Tosi says not a robbery in my mind, but 100% not a draw. And we will get to that soon. But the fifth round, again, Shevchenko kind of cruising a little bit with her jab. She looked good in the fifth round. Um, but then she clinched and she tried to go for like a head and arm throw, which is just peak this division specifically is the head and arm throw. And Grasso just slips out of it, takes her back, and then just beats the brakes off of her on the ground, and then almost gets a choke in at the end, and then ditches
So
that, lands a
close.
little bit more ground and pound. But dude, she was battering her a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think Shevchenko was safe. She was blocking most of it, but that's a terrible look if you're trying to win on points. That you're not going to do it by just here while you're eating hammer fists, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and so with the minute 30 of top control in the fifth round and nasty ground and pound, um, I had I had a fifth round for Grasso. I had uh, I had 2, 4, and 5 for Grasso. All
Same.
10-9 rounds, by the way. I don't think there was any 10-8s in this fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and I had the same. So when they first read uh the scorecard by Camijo there, I was like, okay, that sounds right. Like that's what I had ended up
Forty-eight,
scoring it.
47, Grasso.
Going in, yeah, going into the announcement there, I was thinking 48, 40. Then they're like Sal Diamato scores, and I was like, oh, I guarantee you, it's the exact opposite of what I thought was
Yeah,
Sal
yeah.
Diamato. But
And
then
his was
Mike
fair
Bell,
too.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But then Mike Bell comes around.
Yeah.
And Mike Bell's like, you know what? I'm a just throw a wrench in everybody's plans. And I'm gonna give
That's
a
crazy,
10-8
man.
round to Alexa Grasso on the last round.
I mean, it's bizarre, dude. So, like you said, Camijo had 48-47 Grasso. Sal D'Amato had it 48-47 Shevchenko. The deciding
Fair.
round was the fourth round, which I 100% agree. Those rounds are that round is very close. Andres says, look at Grasso's face. She was beaten. Um, I disagree. All that damage came from one round, so it doesn't really affect the fight as a whole. And speaking of fight as a whole, if this were if we did score fights as a whole, I'm not mad at a draw. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? If we didn't score at 10-point must system, uh, a round apiece, if this fight is, it could be a draw. I'm not mad at the outcome, but I am mad at the fifth round being scored at 10-8. That is insane.
yeah. Well,
I mean, that's
we've been
insane.
saying that there should be more 10-8 rounds that are dished out, and apparently this is something that they've talked to some of the judges about as well, just letting them know that they could be or feel free to throw more 10-8 rounds in there. Uh,
Mhm.
nah, not
Not this one.
yeah,
Look, how can you score round 5 a 10-8 where the whole first half of it, Shevchenko was outlanding her with the jab. It was just the last 2 minutes where it was Grasso beating her up, but not round 3 a 10-8 for Shevchenko where it was her back control the entire time with the submission attempts. And how could you not score round 2 a 10-8 with an actual knockdown? How is round 5 a 10-8 if round 2 and 3 aren't?
I want somebody to check to see if Mike Bell had placed any wagers on this being a draw
Exactly, dude.
at the end of the fight.
Exactly.
You
In
know,
my opinion, a 10-8 round at the end of the fight in a round that is 100% not a 10-8 is, to me, it seems like blatant corruption. This doesn't seem like incompetence. This seems like blatant corruption. It's it's bad,
rough.
dude. It is bad. And
But
to
look,
further my point, go ahead.
I was just saying, not a good look, man. And this is something that has tainted the sport of boxing already for
Mm,
quite some time. And man, I just really hope that somebody just digs into this just a little bit more,
yeah, they
just to
won't.
see where this came from. You
Yeah,
know,
Rich, I just sent a link in the private chat to MMA decisions, which shows you the like reporters' scorecards. If you can scroll down just a little bit, Rich, look at the media scores on the left hand side. Zoom out just a little bit and scoot down if you can show all of them.
oh, there it
Keep,
is.
keep going, zoom out a little bit more, and maybe we hide this for a second. Um, let's see. If that's not a draw, I don't know what is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's completely split. It's completely split. And like I said, with the scoring system the way it is in MMA, or I should say in the UFC, you can't really score this fight a draw. The scoring system doesn't allow this to be scored a draw. But in reality, the fight kind of should be a draw, in my opinion. If you just look at the fight as a whole and you're like, who won that fight? Like, you know what? It's a draw. You
I wonder
know,
what the score was on verdict.
verdict had Shevchenko up slightly.
Slightly, but
Yeah,
close, super close.
close. Yeah.
Yeah. Who scored it 47-46 Grasso?
Jed Meshew from
Get
MMAfighting.com.
out of here. Just
I
don't.
know. I want to see that. I wonder what that scorecard is.
Just don't. Jeez. Shout out
Jeez.
Regen saying, I'm late. Any food left over for your boy? Welcome, Regen. We're always so happy whenever you join us, man. Let me see. Anders says Val won 4 minutes of the fifth round as well.
Yeah, but no
Anders seems pretty
damage.
pissed off about
I get
Shevchenko
it, man.
not winning. It was
I
close.
yeah, I get it.
Look,
She won
I,
three
I
and a
I was
half.
so excited for this fight. And
Mhm.
it's Noche de UFC. We have Alexa Grasso, which is the last Mexican champion still holding on to the belt, right? Yair
Mhm.
Rodriguez is who we thought he was.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, uh, Brandon Moreno loses the title. So we go from having three Mexican champions to Alexa Grasso that's holding on to this for dear life, right? And
yeah,
so going into this, I'm like, come on, Alexa Grasso. I'm cheering her on.
yeah.
And I'm like really, really shooting for. Look, I have the Mexican Heritage Dallas Cowboys hat on today. Your boy, you're
Your boy.
representing. But if they would have said, "Hey, this goes to Shevchenko," I wouldn't have been upset.
No, it
I
really
wouldn't have been
was a
upset.
coin flip. It's a coin flip, which is why I'm really not upset with the overall outcome with a
And that's
draw.
why Mike Bell was like, you know what? I flipped my coin and it did not land heads. It
Yeah,
did not land tails. It just spun the entire
yeah,
time. Didn't go down. Inception style. You know what I mean? At the end, it's just spinning, dude. That's all it did.
that's
That's all
all
it
it
did.
did. Andre said Val set UFC record for most accuracy in a title fight at 59%. That is insane over a 5-round fight. Alexa Grasso did outstrike her 262 to 199 though. And I get your point. Andre's about Val winning 4 minutes of the 5th round. So Alexa had a minute 30 left in that 5th round when she ended up she capitalized on Shevchenko's failed head and arm throw. But that minute and a half outweighs that 3.5 minutes completely, in my opinion. The 4th round is really the one for me. That's like that's the one. All three judges gave Grasso the 5th round. 2 out of 3 gave it to Shevchenko, and I don't know if Mike Bell accidentally gave it to Shevchenko and was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to give Grasso a 10-8 round in the 5th because I fucked up." You know, like I don't know what his line of thinking was.
But also do your job though.
Yeah,
but also just you're writing down numbers under a name. You know, do your job. What
it's
are you
really
doing?
not that hard. You should know, in my opinion, as soon as a round ends, if you're really paying attention and scoring a fight, as soon as the round is over, you should know who won that round. You know what I mean? You shouldn't. They're like, people are like, oh, they only get a minute to submit the scorecard at the end of the round. It's like, you know immediately. You should know immediately if you're paying attention and doing your job. You should know as soon as the round ends. Cool, that's a 10-9 for so and so. You shouldn't be like, but at the beginning of the round there was this, and then no, there's none of that. You should know as soon as it's done.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't be judging. And I know they frown upon, and they say you're pretty much never supposed to do it, but 10-10 rounds are technically an option. And if it's that hard, maybe we just do 10-10s, you know? And honestly, a 10-10 4th round, we end up with a draw at the end of this fight if it's a 10-10 4th round, because the Grasso clearly won the 2nd, clearly won the 5th. Valentina, in my opinion, clearly won the 1st and the 3rd. It's that 4th that's just it's a coin flip. But it was a good fight. It was very good, very competitive.
It was
obviously.
an awesome fight. And you know what? Good job, UFC, in saying, like, hey, this might not be a huge pay-per-view, but it's also more than just your standard fight night.
Yeah.
You know, so, hey, let's put this in the T-Mobile Arena. It lands perfectly in Mexican Independence Day. Let's sell that a little bit. The music that they chose, you know how they have, like, those graphics in between for the tail of the tape?
Drums.
What is he doing? That is – I was listening to that. I was like, what jungle music did they decide to pick this from? Like, what does this have to do with Mexican heritage?
But before the main card started, I don't know if you noticed this, but right before the main card started, they played some promo about, like, they showed like Kane and Moreno and Grasso and all these Mexican fighters and stuff, and there was like, it was like UK drill rap about Mexico City going straight to the top. He repeated that line like 5 times. It was just some British dude rapping about Mexico City, but it was like UK drill rap. So, like, it just didn't match at all. It's like, who picked this? Like, why do we have Leon Edwards here rapping for the first time about Mexico? Like, what are we doing? It was so weird, dude. And then there's that one song that's super popular right now. They played it like every chance they could. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, the one from Peso Pluma?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Over and over.
Yeah, they have Chad Kelly, the intern, pick all the music for Noche UFC. And I'm like, what is going on right now?
Hilarious. Graphics were on point though. I'll give them that. The graphics were fucking sick all night.
But I just found that to be hilarious, that drum music, and I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Andrew's coming through saying the theme of the event shouldn't affect the judges' scorecard. All right.
Yeah,
I'm starting. Hold on, time out. I'm starting to think Anders is really a burner account for Shevchenko. I think we have Shevchenko on right now. Yeah.
She's like, I think they let it over. What did she say? She's like, yeah, I think
they let the event impact the decision or something. Yeah.
Yeah, let it influence. She's like, build the wall.
Yeah. Oh man. No, shout out Anders. I appreciate you being active in the chat there. So for anybody joining us for the first time, we do this live. Join us in the chat. We love to go back and forth. Yeah, it makes it so much better when we're able to interact with everybody as we're going through and talking about the fights. Because I also love to see how other people scored it and what they thought of the main event or any other fights that we talk about. You know what I mean? So he said, haha, nope. Man, I was hoping I caught her. I'd be like, busted. But I guess not.
Andrew said they need to hire the ONE FC producers. Dude, you know what's weird? Before
Oh boy,
when they were
you got
announcing
Will going now.
Shevchenko, yeah, here we go. What's up?
Here goes the
Got
ONE
one.
FC
They
rant.
sent they sent me this bag the other day. Fucking sick, dude.
It's pretty sick.
But they do like the new lights now when they're like announcing the title fighters. And they like forgot to put the spotlight on Valentina when they like actually when Bruce Buffer was actually saying her name. It was just dark in the cage, and I was like, man, if that happened in a one championship, like Chachu's firing people like on the spot.
Oh yeah,
There's
you
no
wouldn't
way
mess
that
around with
happens.
that.
No, come on, how do you not have the light on her when they're announcing her name?
Yeah,
But,
yeah, absolutely. Somebody would have been gone. You're
yeah.
fired. The intern. Poor
The
intern.
intern.
All right. That's all I got on the main event, man. Do you have anything else?
I don't know.
Can
Shevchenko
you
said
do
she
a
broke
third
her
fight?
thumb. Shevchenko said she broke her thumb, so I don't know if they run it back right away. I don't know. Maybe you go Blanchfield. I am a little worried about Grasso's takedown defense against someone like Blanchfield.
Mm.
But I also think Grasso lights up Blanchfield on the feet, so that's an
Oh,
interesting
just you know
matchup.
what? And something that I just love to see is just her. She has that solid classic, just
Yeah,
boxing stance. Like chin tucked, man, hands up high, in close to her midsection. To block those body kicks, dude. And I love seeing like that classic boxing stance style going up against somebody like a Shevchenko, who's a
yeah,
true mixed martial artist, and you see her kind of in
yeah,
that Muay Thai stance, mixing everything together. That was the whole point of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, right? To see all these
yeah,
different styles collide, to see what style would be the best, and now it's grown into what it is today. Uh,
yeah.
and the thing in Mexico is it's still growing. Mixed martial arts is still growing in Mexico, but
Hmm.
boxing has been in the DNA for so long,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
So seeing Grasso walk out like that, and like I said, just as she's like light on her feet, walking in, chin tucked, and throwing those shots, man, and landing them with power. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I love it, dude. I
It's
absolutely love it.
it's going to be interesting to see what the PI does down there, and like what that generation is going to look like of fighters out of Mexico training at that PI. The PI, I mean, they look insane, dude. Like top notch facilities. It's going to be really interesting to see what comes out of that, because like you said, like Mexico and boxing is like synonymous, and they've had so many greats that like it really is just a matter of time before that transition kind of happens a little bit, and we start to see the same kind of thing with MMA, and the PI is
Marco
going to be a
Antonio
big step
Barrera,
towards that.
dude. Julio Cesar Chavez. Come on,
Senior.
man. Yo, thank you for clarifying that. We want nothing to do with Junior.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I do
Absolutely.
because I got to watch Anderson Silva beat him up in a boxing fight, and I thought that was very cool of him to do.
Letting a legend go out like that. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Much appreciated. Hey everybody, Ramiro and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.